Welcome to Brooker Ceramics, and this week I've been making something quite close to my heart. It might look like just a simple castle for a chess piece, but this has a lot of significant meaning for me. And I hope over the course of this video I can explain to you the reasons why, and you can learn a little bit about me and my journey to becoming a ceramicist. Today I'm working on something very close to my heart. A castle piece for a chessboard that once belonged to my nan. This isn't just another piece of pottery, it's a tribute, a way to connect to her memory, to honour the person who first inspired my love for this craft. So I've got my ball of clay weighed out. What I want to do is cone and centre the clay, but I'm not going to open up this clay ball. I'm just going to cone it up, and that'll allow me to come in and start grooving in the details. So let's give that a go. My nan passed away 12 months ago, and she's the reason I began working with clay. I had this quiet, creative spirit that showed up in everything she did, whether she was cooking, knitting, or spending hours in her garden. She never made pottery herself, but her hands were always creating something. Through her, I learnt to appreciate the beauty of making things by hand, of taking the time to form things slowly, thoughtfully, and when I work with clay, it's like she's here with me, guiding me through each movement, reminding me to stay patient and present. Pottery has become a way to keep her memory alive. There's something profoundly reflective about shaping clay, something that makes you slow down and focus entirely on the process. It's a rhythm, a gentle meditative experience. Clay has its own life, its own personality, and working with it requires both control and acceptance. There's only so much you can do to shape it before you have to let go and trust it will become what it's meant to be. In many ways, it's like a conversation with the material, one that requires patience and presence, and each piece becomes unique to that moment. Today, I'm honouring her memory with this castle piece. In chess, the castle symbol resembles strength and stability, the guardian of the board. That role resonates with me because my nan was like that, a steady, grounding presence in my life, someone I could always rely on. Creating a piece that represents the strength feels like a fitting tribute to her. She taught me about resilience and patience, about creating a foundation for yourself in whatever you pursue. In pottery, these lessons come to life. Each moment is a decision, reflecting a small part of what she's taught me. There's something beautiful about pottery and the details, something she taught me to appreciate. Nan used to say that the beauty of something lies in the details we often overlook. Pottery has a way of bringing out those finer details, of making you pause and notice each curve and contour. It's about taking the time to make things right, to refine, to smooth, and to appreciate what the hands create. These details become a way to honour her memory, knowing that I'm putting the same care into each piece that she would have. Pottery is a process that has so much about the journey as the finished piece itself. There's no rush here, just a calm and steady unfolding. The clay becomes a canvas for memories, for emotions, for things that we hold close but can't always put into words. So a few days later, and the chess piece is now leather hard and ready to trim. What I've noticed when I was throwing this is that the neck points were quite weak, and that caused it to wobble. So I have to be really careful when applying pressure to the ceramic piece itself, because it could cause it to snap. What I want to do first is trim the bottom nice and flat, and that will allow me to then place it onto the wheel, seal it down, and I can begin the trimming process. Given the small surface area, what I'll probably have to do is place it down in the wheel and build up a clay wall around it to hold it into place. So let's zoom in and take a look at how I'll do that now. Working with clay has taught me to slow down and appreciate every part of the process, to find peace in a simple act of creating. Through pottery, I feel like I'm creating forward a small piece of her, making something she would be proud of, something that keeps her spirit close to me. Each piece of pottery I make is, in some way, a tribute to her. Throwing on the wheel is a reminder that even though she is not physically here, her influence shapes everything I do. In this piece, in the lines and the textures, I see her steady presence, her patience, her love of beauty and simple things. It's a way of carrying forward her memory, of making her spirit is so woven into every piece that I create. So now that the base is trimmed nice and flat, it's time to flip it over and I can seal it down onto the wheel and begin to trim the whole piece. You'll have noticed that I was trimming very slowly, and this is because of the shape and how the vessel might tip. So again, I want to repeat that process and begin kind of carving it all up. As I sit here today, working on this piece, I'm reminded of how far I've come in the past 6 months. It's been a real journey of learning, experimenting, and pushing myself with every piece I create. When I started, I had a vision of what I wanted to achieve, but actually getting here has taught me so much about patience and resilience and the dedication to the craft. After months of shaping, refining, and practicing, I'm now at the point where I can finally start firing my pieces this month. This is a milestone that's both exciting and humbling. Firing clay, taking it from something soft and malleable and full of potential and transforming it into something solid, lasting and strong feels like a metaphor for the journey itself. There is a point in the process where you have to trust the work that you've put in the hours of shaping and refining. You place the clay in the kiln and at that moment you let go. You can't control the outcome anymore. The heat of the kiln will transform it, bringing out colours and textures you couldn't fully see before, making it resilient and permanent, a piece that is finally complete. In the beginning, working with clay feels delicate, full of possibilities. You can take changes, refine it, mould it to fit the vision you're working towards. But firing is different. It is a process that solidifies the journey, something that takes all those small, patient steps and turns them into something permanent. This transition shifts from soft clay to finished ceramic, reminds me of that progress isn't always about being able to see the final outcome. Sometimes it's about knowing you've done the best you can in the moment and trusting the process to bring out the strength within. Now that the firing stage is edging closer, I can't help but to feel a sense of excitement about the glazing this piece. Glazing is one of those beautiful, unpredictable parts of pottery. It's where the true character of a piece comes out. You carefully choose each glaze, apply it with a vision in mind, but the final outcome is always a mystery. Once it's back in the kiln, the heat transforms those layers into something you could never quite anticipate, and that unpredictability adds a touch of magic to the process. Every time I'll glaze a piece, it will remind me of my Nan and her ability to see beauty in the unexpected. She often says that life is a lot like art. No matter how much we plan, there's always an element beyond our control. And in pottery, just like in life, sometimes it's that unpredictable element that creates the most unique beauty. As the glaze settles and melts, it forms colours and textures unique to that one piece, giving it a character all of its own. In a way, it feels like my Nan's spirit is present in this process. She's taught me to embrace those unknowns, to find beauty in the journey itself, and to be patient in waiting to see how these things will turn out. Soon this piece will be ready for that final touch, a glaze that will bring it to life in a way only a kiln can. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope that in sharing this process, you feel a connection to the memories and stories that shape our lives, just as clay shapes under our hands. If this resonates with you, please consider subscribing, liking, or sharing a comment. It means the world to me, and I try to respond to everybody in the comments below.